Hey guys, back again. Didn't manage to make my last video before I left for work, so now I'm over here at work. There's the big truck. So I'll go ahead and give just a super short video, a quick run through of the condition of my van now, how much progress I made while I was off. I took 2 days off, worked on it for a day. All right, here we go. Okay. Big old truck. Here she is over here. I think I'll just go ahead and show you guys on the inside real fast, and then we'll take a look on the outside. So let me hop up in here. Shut this door. Okay, let me adjust this. Alright, so like I've talked about before, I've been working on this van, building it for about 10 months. Like I said, I'm a truck driver. I'm only home usually 6-7 days each month. So when I'm at home, I try to do as much work as I can getting it put together. Obviously, I have other obligations, but I do the best I can. So here's something I want to show. So when I got this cargo van, it came with a metal wall right here with the little holes in it. You can see here, there's the metal wall. I always knew that I wanted a separation between the cab and the back here. So I decided to just leave that metal wall there. I thought, hey, it's here. That's one less thing I got to fool with and build. So I just left it in. And then I ended up covering over the little perforated holes. I covered over those with a piece of plywood that I painted gray to match the wall. So on the other side, you don't even notice. But so yeah, then I reinforced this wall with framing and insulation. This is the actual color. Everything's going to be painted in here. Then what I decided to do is I decided to carry that wall from the floor all the way up to the ceiling. And what that did for me is it took this little tiny cubby storage area up here and made it bigger. So instead of it stopping right here, it comes all the way out to here, which is an extra like 6-7 inches of storage up here. It's not quite finished. I have to, I'm going to put it's got this nice plastic piece up here, but I want to add like a rubber mat right here, and add another light. So far I just have this little puck light over here. And then once I get finished with the building portion of this and I start doing my trim work, that'll get trimmed out nicely. You won't see those screw heads. I'll put some really pretty wood trim up there. And then this little section I made purposefully. What I tried to do up here with this storage area, I wanted to block off that side and block off this side. That way when things are up here, they're not gonna like fall out. Just wanted to leave a little opening here to get in and out. And later on, I might add a little door here. I'm not too concerned about these little details right now, obviously, but I might add a little door here to where I can open that. And then for this little section I made here, I'm gonna make this into like a really cool light. I ordered this really pretty stained glass piece that's gonna go right here. And then I can have a light behind it. And I thought that'll be a nice touch. So let's move on to some other things here. So this is another thing. I was going to do a really nice wooden sliding door here, but I realized there's just not a whole lot of space. In order to have a sliding door, I kind of wanted it to go back into the wall, and it was just going to take up too much room. So I opted to just put this curtain in. Here's something else I'll touch on a little bit. So I really love the Southwestern motif, Native American stuff, the silver jewelry and all that. So there's this company that sells these beautiful woven blankets. These are made in South America, and they're actually very reasonably priced. They're not wool. If the wool ones are super expensive, these are made out of a mix of like a poly and a cotton. They're very soft and comfy and super durable. And I'm not trying to be, advertising. I love their stuff. They have all these beautiful patterns. So there's this blanket. And I've had this blanket for years, and it still looks beautiful. It's not worn out or anything. It's nice. And so then I got this blackout curtain on the other side. And I just kind of stitched this together and put these pretty buttons on here. And then I put in this slider up here. And so hopefully, I haven't really I put this curtain up when the weather was warmer, so I don't know how well it's going to work when winter comes. But my hope is that it will trap heat back here, or trap heat in the cab when I'm driving. But yeah, I just have this curtain hanging here, which I love it. I think it adds a nice bit of interest there. And then, of course, back here on the bed, again, I have another one of these beautiful Southwestern blankets that I got from that company. This one is pretty old too. I think I've had this one for about 3 or 4 years, and as you can see, it's got a little bit of wear on it, but it still looks really beautiful. Like I said, these are woven. Yeah, so the pattern's woven in, so it's not really gonna fade too much. And of course, it's reversible. As you can see, this side is very light, and the other side is dark. Same thing with that one. And I just put this on the bed to kind of give some nice pop of color design back here. So as you can see, there's my round window that I just put in, and my pass-through. Now this pass-through, once this is all done, this will all be framed out nicely, and I'm going to have a screen. I'm going to make a removable screen to put in that little rectangular opening. I'm also going to make another piece that goes in there that'll be a little bit thicker, so when wintertime rolls around, if I want to cover that hole to keep the cold air from the back of the van coming in, I can put that up there. Because I have about 1.5 inches of insulation on these walls. I put in Reflectix, and I put in the foam board that you see here in the walls, ceiling, floor. But that back closet area that I have back there, it's not insulated, so there is going to be some cold air back there. So I'll want to make something, an insert to put there to keep the cold air out. Now these windows, I haven't finished trimming these out. I got these nice window sills installed, but I still have to put trim around these windows. Obviously the area up here has to be finished up here. Same thing with this one, trim around the windows needs to be finished. And then of course, a couple weeks ago, I built these frames for these 2 cabinets that flank the kitchen. There's going to be a wall on the side, and it'll be painted green just like this. Basically, it'll be just like this. This has to be finished. I got to frame out the front of it, put a door on here. That's going to be my electrical cabinet. This one's going to be a food pantry on the top and a clothing on the bottom. I just got these nice bins to put clothes in. And then I'm going to have shelves up top back here. And I'm going to get some more of these bins, and then I can have a couple of them up here to put clothes. And of course, I also have the storage area up top here. I can put clothes up there if I need. And then this one's dedicated to the bathroom kitchen. So basically down here, like I've talked about, I have this little portable toilet I made. This is super basic. I just made it out of scrap wood. Got this lid. And I got these really cool wide mouth containers at Walmart. They were only $2 a piece. It's a clear container. I spray painted it gray on the outside so you can't see what's inside. And I use this in a pinch or in an emergency when I need to, do number 1. Pee. I just go in here when I need to. If I'm spending the night in the van and I don't have access to a formal bathroom, I'll just use this. Works really great. And then I just take it outside and dump it in the grass and clean it out. And then I just have this bucket in here in case of an emergency, if I need to do the other thing. And I just keep this in here. I don't use it very often. Most of the time, if I need to go, I just go inside my friend's house or my daughter's. If I'm out visiting my daughter, I use her bathroom, or I can just stop at a fast food place. But yeah, I just have it there in case I need it. And it's simple, easy to use. My refrigerator, of course. The next part that I'm going to be working on after I get my roof hatch in, which I didn't get done this weekend, the next part will be to finish this kitchen out. So I'm going to build 2 cabinets here, one with drawers, one that opens up. I'm going to have a little sink, and then I'm probably going to do a USB powered faucet and a small water heater. So there'll be a butcher block countertop here, backsplash, and then I'm going to put a nice shelf up here. And then this top part of this cabinet, I'm probably just going to put appliances up here. I have a KitchenAid mixer, and I'll probably get like an air fryer. All right, so let's talk about this side. Like I said, this will be an electrical cabinet. I've got my Bluetti down here, my solar generator, which I need to shut off, by the way. Shut off, Bluetti. It's off now. Okay. And then, I've talked about this a bunch of times. I framed this out and built a wall here so I could get this straight and true, because I'm going to be putting a sliding screen door here. So that in springtime and fall, I'll have a nice screen door, and I'm going to make it super strong so my animals can't get out. They won't be able to get through it. I'm going to make it in such a way that it'll be heavy duty like that. And then in spring and summer, if I want to open the sliding door and leave it open, I'll have a screen door here, and my animals won't be able to get out if I don't want them to get out. All right, so obviously, like I said, I got that cute round window installed while I was home, and I also installed this nice slider on the door. I was going to do this slightly differently. I was going to do like insulation on there, and I was going to put some Luan up, which is thin plywood, but it didn't work out. So I just ended up using these 1x2 pine boards as shims to hold the window in place, because the window's really deep and the door's super thin. So I had to shim it with these and screw these into place. It's pretty unsightly right now, but eventually I'll have a beautiful frame around it, and then you won't see these little bits of wood. But this is nice because I can open it up and get some airflow back here when we're driving, because all the rest of my windows can't be opened while I'm driving. These awning windows, you can't open those while you're driving, and that window in the back doesn't open at all. So I wanted to have at least one window that opens to get airflow in the back. All right, that's pretty much it. I know I'm just blathering on, but yeah. And of course, this is a little stool that I made out of some scrap wood for my dog, because she's a senior dog. She's not very big. She has a hard time getting up on the bed, so I made this cute little stool for her to climb up on the bed, which turned out really lovely. It was just scrap pieces of wood I had laying around, so plus I already had the screws, so it was free. All it cost me was the labor. Oh my goodness. All right, real quick, I'll do a walk around on the outside. So let me do a quick, just kind of go back around here. Front area, kitchen area. Food pantry, clothing storage, bed. Under the bed, there's room under there to store things. Usually under there I keep like my cat carriers, and I have enough room under the bed where I can actually add a couple of bins under there as well. This is my electrical closet, like I talked about. My wall for my sliding screen door that I haven't built yet. So many things to build. I'm hoping I finish this up in November, and then after I finish building everything, I'm going to have to start on the electrical system, which is going to be pretty pricey. So I'm not in a big hurry to do the electrical system. It works the way it is right now. I've got the Bluetti. The Bluetti's awesome. It'll keep a charge for many, many hours, and I can power whatever I need in here. And then when I need to recharge the Bluetti, I just plug it into a 110 power outlet. But yeah, eventually everything's going to get hardwired in here. I'm going to get some solar panels on the roof, and I'm going to get some deep cycle batteries. The deep cycle batteries are going to live in this cabinet down here at the bottom. So that's the plan for that. But that whole electrical system probably won't get done until next year in the spring, because I have to come up with some more money. I'm not rich. All right, let me open this door. Ugh. Do a quick walk around. And then I gotta get to work. So here we go. Whew, this is kind of warm out today. So here she is. Her name is Agatha. I love old-timey women names, so I named her Agatha. And then, like I was talking about the other day, I am also planning to do graphics down this middle here in this section. I'm going to put retro stripes here. And I'm also looking at a cool I found these really cool Fox logos, and I was thinking about putting a fox on there because it's super cool. So here's what she looks like. Let me do a walk around. Hopefully I don't trip and fall since I'm walking backwards. So you can see here the windows in the back. And then from the back, oops, sorry. See my round window. I love it so much. I think it gives it just a pop of pizzazz. And then my rear window over here and the sliding door. That's it. Those are the only windows I'm putting in on the exterior here, and then I'll have that roof hatch will go on the top. The thing about the roof hatch is a lot of people will install fans on their roof or air conditioning units. I'm not a fan. I'm not a person who really likes that idea. I just don't like having a bunch of mechanisms that have to be powered by electricity, and also I don't like having all that stuff on the roof. I just think it's just more things you got to maintain, more holes you got to cut. You know, if you bump into something, you damage the stuff on the roof, you got to replace it. So I try to keep everything as simplistic as possible with my build. And when I put that hatch in on the roof, I'll be able to use that to exhaust my cooking in the kitchen. Basically, I'll be able to pop it open. I can just get a little USB powered fan, clip it up there, and it'll suck the stuff out right out the roof. That's how I'm going to do it. A USB powered fan. I'm a huge fan of these components you can buy that are USB powered and rechargeable that don't have to be hardwired, because that's just less draw on your electrical system, less hassle, and it makes the vehicle more friendly to being off grid. So when I want to go on a trip, or if I want to go camping and I don't want to plug in, if I have a lot of systems in here that are rechargeable, that can, don't have to be plugged into 110, I feel like it's more off grid. And that's my whole perspective on that. All right, well, that's it for now, guys. So this is basically what she's going to look like on the outside now that all the windows are put in on the outside, plus the stripes. I have no idea when I'm going to get around to that. I should probably do it before it gets cold out, because I know it'll be difficult to work with graphics when it's colder. All right, that's all I got, guys. I'm going to go ahead and go pick up my load, and then I'm going to head out to Carthage, Missouri. There's this really cool place I deliver in Carthage. It's called The Underground. And it's where they, many decades ago, I think it was back in the 1950s, they blasted out this area. It's a quarry. And then, I don't know whose idea it was, but they decided to dig out. In addition to that quarry, they went ahead and dug out underground. And they built these systems of warehouses that are underground in caves. Literally. So like when I go there to deliver, I'll check in, and then they'll be like, all right, they want you to head on down there, and I'll go down these hills, down into the quarry, and then there'll be these giant cave openings, the size that you can fit a giant, a big truck in, and then you drive in there, and it's this massive underground system with these huge thousands of square feet warehouses. There's several of them down there. It's really neat. The only thing is, when I go down there to deliver, I lose my internet signal, so I can't use my phone once I'm in there, but they're usually in and out within an hour. The other thing is, once you're down there, you're not allowed to run your truck at all, period, because they can't have all the fumes in the cave, right? So you can't have heat, you can't have air conditioning. There have been times I've gone down there, and of course it's a cave, so you're probably thinking, well, it's probably a constant 65 degrees. Not really, because it's such a massive network of caves down there and warehouses. The temperature isn't always like what you might think in a cave would be. And like in the summertime, it gets really hot in that cave. And if I'm sitting there waiting to be unloaded, I'm just like sweating. But anyway, it's really cool, and that's where I'm heading today. So I'll leave you guys with that, and hope you're all having a good week. Hope you're having a really great time out there on the road with your vans and your cars and that kind of thing, campers. And I'll talk to you guys next time I get back. All right, bye.